On page 52 and 53 of the textbook, there's some diagrams that they show you there, and I want to show you an easy way to do these. The application I used to use is called draw.io, and they've changed the name of that, but if you've had me before in a class and used draw.io before, it's app.diagrams.net. It's a simple little place to build diagrams. Always going to start with blank, but notice they do have one for an entity relationship diagram, and if I go to click on this one, I'll just show you what this looks like for fun. This shows you how this particular application would draw an entity relationship diagram. So very similar to what maybe you've seen on some other things that we've done so far. The crow's feet and how they connect to each one of these things, talk about customer ID numbers from one to many relationships, etc. This is just a way to do it. But now that I've kind of showed you that one, I want to show you just a basic one first, so that way you can recreate essentially what the book is doing. Ooh, let's make sure we do this in English. That'll be a lot easier. So, and let's not show this again. All right, so we want to draw some entities on here. When you take a look at this, the general, I mean, you could just draw a box, a square there, but that's not really what you want. What you want is you want to pick this entity relationship, and then when you open up this triangle here, you'll see those kinds of charts that you saw on that first one that I showed you. You'll also see where you can do just a basic entity. So if I drag that entity over, and in the book here they called this rep, and then they had another entity there called customer, so I'm going to drag another one of these over, and we'll call it customer. And let's do one more. Probably should move this down some too, so it's a little easier to see. And then this one was called orders. And then how are we going to connect all these together? Well, a couple different ways to do it. Notice how it shows you the little blue line, tells you when you're all lined up nice and straight, and you've got equal distance apart. Nice thing about this application, a big fan. The way you draw your lines, though, your lines show up down here. This is where you're going to connect them. We've got a one-to-many and then just a many connections, and this is exactly the one you want. So I'm going to drag this over, and I'm going to drop it here for a second. One thing about this line is that it is rounded, which is okay, but it's got this little squiggly thing. So whenever I try to connect this from the bottom here and then try to put it to the customer here on the top, when I click off of that, it looks weird. Okay, that doesn't look right. So what you want to do is make sure this line is selected, and then where you have this little squiggly thing going on here, we want this to be a straight line. And orthogonal. Okay, that's what that one is. So, but we want a straight line. So now we've got our rep connected to our customer. So we've got one representative connected to many customers. And then we've got a customer that's probably connected to many orders. So we'll do the same kind of a thing here. We'll go to that many, and we'll drag it over and drop it on here. And then we get to the same business here to where we have to change this to straight. Now what you could do is you could set this as the default style. So now if I set this as the default style, now I shouldn't have to fiddle with this anymore when we do our next connection. And there we go, so we got these connected. So then if we wanted to have an order line show up, we would drag this over here. And then now this time when we go to drag our one-to-many, we'll take that and we'll make sure this connects with this box here. And what you have to do is this has to actually touch the box. When it does, then you can take and you can resize or drag this box and put it wherever you want, and it will continue that connection. So that's the nice thing about this application, is that you can kind of put these wherever you want and it will follow the lines. So it's a very easy program to use. I strongly encourage you to try it out. There's also a sample in the book there on 52 that shows just random letters or numbers showing up there. That's even easier. So if you just want to enter in some numbers there, you just put in text, and then you could put in, I think they put 1 in for this one. And then once you have that 1, you can drag it and put it here, etc. So an easy way to do it. I will give you one assignment out of this, which is why I'm showing you how to do this. But this is how you use Draw.io. To get it out of there, by the way, you have to export it, and you're going to export it as a PDF. And then when you do that, I would just do from the whole thing, and then export it to your hard drive. In this case, I'll drop it right here on my desktop, and then I should have a nice little picture of what I've drawn so far. So hope that you find this easy and you learned something.